Welcome to Movie Monday, where every Monday I tell you a movie you need to watch and sometimes not. Today we're talking about The Long Walk, a movie that proves winning the lottery isn't always a dream. This movie came out a couple of months ago. It's an hour and 48 minutes long and is categorized as a horror movie. And as I'm sure you can imagine, there is a kind of larger cast with this one. I'm gonna put some of the notable faces featured in this film on the screen now, but I would highly recommend looking up everyone in the cast because everyone did so good. But if you're more into that behind the scenes information like ratings, writers, directors, producers, that should all be on the screen now as well. So here's the deal. Every year there's a nationwide lottery, and instead of avoiding it, you actually want to win it. Like, kids actually want to win it. Because only teenagers aged from like 13 to 19. I'm gonna be so real, I don't know the exact age limit with it all. They all seemed like older teens, but I know there's a little bit of a difference between the original story and this movie, but just keep that in mind. Because if one of those kids does win, then they get the chance to participate in this thing called The Long Walk. 2 teenagers are selected from each state, which makes it 100 total, though I do feel like there is a change in the movie with that as well. I don't feel like we saw 100 kids, though maybe it is implied. Just wanted to throw that out there though. And then they walk. That's it. And they walk until only one person remains. The pace is set at 3 miles an hour, and if you drop below that, then you get a warning. 3 warnings and that's it. Like there's no fourth. And what makes all these kids want to join this lottery of death? The winner gets an enormous amount of money and 1 wish granted. Like literally anything they want. No limits. Or it seems that there's no limits. It's such a chilling setup because it's simple. It's not about monsters or haunted houses. It's about endurance, youth, and the human capacity for denial. The Long Walk is such a strange experience because it's both incredibly minimal and incredibly heavy. It's just kids walking, but somehow it becomes this massive emotional and psychological journey. What Francis Lawrence does brilliantly is he doesn't try to like Hollywoodize it. He lets the tension build naturally. There's no like grand music swelling every 5 minutes. It's more just footsteps, conversations, and the occasional reminder that stopping isn't an option. And you definitely start to feel the dread settle in, almost like you're walking with them. And what I really appreciated is how much they lean into the reality of teenage behavior under pressure. These aren't flawless heroes. They're 16, 17, 18-year-olds who swing from bravado to breakdown in a span of a few minutes. They bond, they tease, they argue about the dumbest stuff, and then 5 minutes later they're crying. It's messy in a way that feels real. It kind of reminded me of the Hunger Games without the rebellion and spectacle aspects. This isn't about hope and defiance necessarily, but more so about exhaustion and what happens when the system make kids compete for survival and like they're the ones volunteering for it. Because that's the thing, they all volunteered for this. They all wanted to do this. Nobody forced them into it. They all wanted to win. And maybe that detail is kind of like the shift between dystopian fiction and something that's a little more believable, even if it's a little scary. And I feel like the cinematography fits like perfectly with everything that we have going on. We have these long flat stretches of road that kind of start to feel like an infinity after a while. And there's this dusty and almost like sunburnt kind of look to it at times, like Americana turned into purgatory. Maybe that was intentional. And the camera doesn't flinch when things get bad. And it's not gory for the sake of shock, it's more just like matter of fact. When someone collapses or breaks down, it's almost quiet, which somehow makes it worse, which leads me into some of my thoughts about the sound design. I feel like by the halfway point, you can feel almost like every crunch. There's almost like a methodicness to them walking, maybe kind of like a clock ticking down. And when the silence does break, whether it's like a gunshot or someone screaming or something like that, it definitely kind of feels like a slap in the face. But these are all good things in my opinion in terms of sound. And then there's the ending. I'm keeping this spoiler free, but wow. I'm gonna say it's probably not what you think it is. Like it is, but it's not. And if you do know, I don't think it makes it any less powerful. There is so much symbolism packed into that last stretch about like youth, ambition, sacrifice, the illusion of choice. You can read it as a commentary on capitalism, or maybe the American obsession with winning at all costs, or maybe even how systems feed into young people's hopes. But it also works perfectly if you just take it as this brutal human story about how far people will go to matter. I definitely think it's one of those movies where the longer you sit with it, the more it could grow on you. When it ended for me initially, I kind of just sat there in silence. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know if I liked it or if I was just kind of like emotionally drained. But now, definitely several days later, I can't stop thinking about it, and that's how I know it worked. So yeah, I really like The Long Walk. I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5. It's haunting without needing jump scares, and it lingers in your head long after the credits roll. If you like Stephen King stories that focus on dread over gore, or if you've ever thought The Hunger Games needs fewer fireballs and more emotional damage, this is your movie. movie. It's tense, slow, and thoughtful, but definitely not for everyone. But it's for sure for anyone who likes their horror with a side of existential reflection. And honestly, if you're down for the ride or the walk, this one definitely delivers. Thanks for watching Movie Monday. If you've seen The Long Walk, make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments, especially how you interpreted that ending, because oh my gosh, there's a lot to unpack there. And if you haven't seen it yet, add it to your list, but maybe stretch your legs first. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other reviews for more chaotic commentary, pop culture tangents, and the occasional mental breakdown over a movie I like too much. See you next Monday. Bye!